It is with great pleasure and pride that I introduce our keynote speaker, Fatima Silva, Esquire, whom I have known since she was just a toddler. Fatima graduated James Logan High School in 2000 and completed her Bachelor of Science degree at St. Mary's College before attending law school in New York. Now a criminal defense attorney, she practices law in her offices at San Francisco. When she was a teen, Fatima's family found themselves having to seek out justice against a formidable opponent. This David and Goliath situation became a catalyst for her life and her career. Now, as an attorney, she represents people who have been accused of a crime. Some are deserving of punishment, but some of them are truly innocent. All of them need an advocate to help them navigate the legal system, and this is where Fatima steps in. As if being a lawyer were not impressive enough, Fatima also hosts a television show on Discovery Plus called Reasonable Doubt. Along with her co-host, she examines the evidence of murder cases with new eyes while shedding light on the workings of the criminal justice system. In some cases, the pair's work illuminates overlooked evidence or an incomplete investigation, resulting in exoneration. When that doesn't happen, Fatima's empathy comes into play as she helps clients accept the facts and achieve closure. One other role Fatima is especially proud of involves serving as a mock trial coach for high school students in Livermore. Her mentorship of these students allow her to share her love of law and justice with the next generation. I'm so excited to present Union City's pride, Fatima Silva. First is a short video about Fatima, which will be followed by her remarks.
I tend to ultimately have tunnel vision and think of ways that I can defend my client, the best way that I can defend my client, poking holes, affirmative defenses, and that my loyalty is to my client. I think that's a really heavy burden that I carry, and I take it very seriously because the state has a burden to prove, and I'm there to make sure that there's a balance in the scales of justice. On this show, it's hard because I have to come in being more objective. It's taken a few episodes for me to realize I don't represent this person. I don't represent their family either. I'm coming in and I'm trying to look at everything independently. This is about truth, seeking truth. And I don't want to say that as a criminal defense attorney, I'm not seeking truth, but my job is not to reveal the truth. My job is to defend my client and make sure that the state proves their case. So it's very different. I feel an obligation to the families to deliver to them, whether it's good news or bad news, information that's going to bring them peace either way, information that's going to allow them to be free somehow.
Please welcome Fatima Silva.
Thank you so much. Is this on? Can you guys hear me?
Yep,
So.
you're good.
Okay, good. You never know. Sometimes I do this when I have my court Zooms. Thank you, Auntie Tina. That's how I know her. She is, yes, she's known me since I was very little. I really appreciate this opportunity today. And am I the only one who gets totally choked up watching those student videos?
No.
These are so awesome. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, every single time. You're just all so beautiful, and I'm so excited for the future ahead. So with that, first off, I just want to thank New Haven Schools Foundation for the opportunity to speak at this awesome Pathways to Success celebration. And of course, thank you to all the donors, sponsors, but the donors, alumni, families that give in memoriams. Your generosity not only helps these students financially, but it tells these young people that someone believes in me, someone sees my potential. And that kind of support, it lasts a lifetime. And I know this because I was a recipient of a scholarship, a few of them back in 2000 when I graduated high school, 21 years ago. That is insane. Does not feel that long. I still love coming back to Union City, my old stomping grounds, born and raised there, and still, going to the high school and remembering all my good times there. So, but the generosity of these scholarships, it does stay with. I remember that that first year as a freshman, I couldn't even afford my books because not all of my loans and grants came in. And I remember that that scholarship money helped me buy my books because they were so expensive then. I hope they're not as expensive now online, but so thank you. And next, I want to say a huge, huge congratulations to the recipients of these scholarships, the graduating class of 2021, a class of resilience and perseverance. That is the class that you are for sure. As young people, you have faced so much adversity these past few years, and that's just the challenges we see on the news every day. So I can't even imagine what some of you have endured to be here today with your families, in life, outside of what's going on in the world around us. To achieve the grades that you have, to stay involved and present in one of the most difficult years in history. I just want to say congratulations. Being here today, a recipient of a scholarship for higher education, says you have hope. And you are the generation of hope, honestly, overcoming anything that life throws your way. Remember this too. I think it's really important. Remember this when you're overwhelmed with exams, when you're trying to balance maybe family issues or trauma with your studies. Just remember, you can do this. You have done it. You did it these past few years. This has been insane, and you have made it this far already. So sometimes you get tunnel vision when you're in school and it's like nothing else matters and it's all about your grades, but life still happens around you. Family members go through things, you know, financially it can get rough, and it's important to maintain that perspective of, I can do this. I can balance it all. I've already done it. So this is no problem. So cheers to all of you. You give me hope. Chabot, USC, Berkeley, Cornell. Hello, we had like 4 going to Cornell. That's amazing, you guys. Wow. I hope you all find each other in Ithaca, New York, and can complain about the cold together, because I've lived in New York and it's freezing. So good luck to you. So I don't know any of you students personally, but I am so very proud of you. Know that we are all so proud of you. So congratulations to you all. Well, I wish I could sit here today and tell you stories about how, you know, I did all the right things. I followed this proper life plan. And that's how I ended up a lawyer on TV. But, you know, that's just not the case. That's not the way life works. And we know that. What I can confirm is that with hard work, overcoming adversities, volunteering your time, giving back, and walking through open doors, taking that risk, you will find your passion and you will live a life that feels fulfilled. And you'll find success. And I just want to remind you, I know you're headed into some times where everybody, you know, you hear the word success so much and you think money and what you have. And you know, I'm in my late 30s, and I'm sure that people in their 50s can say the same thing. We constantly measure ourselves by these different, you know, successes of do we have what this person has? Do we have this car? Do we have this house? But just bear in mind, studies have shown that success is not measured by the amount of money you have or the materialistic things that you have. You know, success is going to be measured by your happiness and whether you're living a life of your passions. So I think that Union City folk kind of have that, you know, grind to us and that hustle where we can remember that through life, that, you know, it's the little things that matter and it's living a life of purpose that matters. But you kind of get caught up in it when you're going through school and you meet people of different walks of life. You begin to compare yourself. Don't do that. Comparison is the thief of joy. Don't let it steal your joy. You guys have worked really hard to be where you are. I remember so much of my days at James Logan because as a granddaughter of immigrants, I didn't have many resources in my family. I didn't have the connections with alumni. I really didn't even have connections to white collar people, you know, people who were in professions that weren't, you know, maintenance or HVAC or something like that. That was most of my family. But I did know I wanted to be a lawyer. And I knew that that required not just undergraduate school, but graduate school. So I had to get my 4-year degree, but I didn't know how to even begin. So that's when I decided to take full advantage of my teachers and the staff at James Logan. counselors like Mr. Huertas. He wasn't even my counselor, but he spent endless hours guiding me through the process. Teachers like Miss Madrigal and Miss Campos, I don't even know if they're there anymore, but they were fierce, educated Latinas who really guided me, and they made sure that I stayed involved in clubs and extracurricular activities so I could become a future leader. Tough as nails teachers like my drama teacher, Mr. Vinci. Oh my gosh, everyone feared Mr. Vinci, but it was a good fear because he never accepted anything less than our best, and excuses just were not allowed in that theater. And a lot of his lessons have stayed with me for life. Sometimes I'm really tough on other people because of that. When you know someone's full potential, you demand it from them. You don't accept less. So I remember I want to tell you guys just a little bit about the college experience. I know a lot of you are headed, a lot of you are headed to colleges that are away from home. And, you may think I've gone through high school, I've made it. High school can be rough. So you may feel like I've come pretty far, I'm pretty grounded. College is a total different experience. So I just want to share, it was a culture shock for me. I chose a private school. I'm not sure why, because it was really expensive and I'm still paying the debt on that. But it was a small, intimate seminar style program. And that's what works well for me. But it was difficult to connect with other students. Many came from wealthy backgrounds and didn't seem to have much experience with other cultures. Unlike here at Logan and Union City, I think, we all come from similar socioeconomic backgrounds. And I think we can all say we have a ton of friends of different racial backgrounds. So, I mean, the fact that a lot of my friends were from every background, and people in life, and when I ended up in New York later, I was like, wait, like some of your best friends are Filipino and Samoan and like not just Latino, like, what lumpia is and all of that, it surprises people because you realize outside of the bubble of Union City and the Bay Area, life is very different. And, there are melting pots like New York, but people are still very segregated. So it was a culture shock for me. So what I ended up doing was joining clubs. And I started volunteering again, just like I did in high school. I did it in college. And this is where I started to meet grounded, like-minded students who I created lasting bonds with. Now, I do want to make it clear this was like sophomore, junior year that I got really involved. So don't think you have to hit the ground running freshman year. Freshman year is chaotic. It's a mess. You're going to meet people and then you're going to think you love them. And then you're going to be like, oh, that person was not good for me. So don't worry. Freshman year is all about finding that balance between studies now and like actually having a life again. But I'd say around sophomore year, I started to get more involved. And I just want to encourage you, start the trend soon of volunteering in your community and giving back wherever that community may be. There's such a need today, and there are so many ways to serve, especially with, social media. Resources are everywhere. There's really no excuse. You could serve online in different ways. I coach a mock trial team every single year of high schoolers, and we've been doing the mock trial competition online. It's not the same, but you can still really connect with everyone. You may feel consumed with your studies and think, how am I going to have time to do service work? I'm in college. I need to get straight A's. I need to do this. But honestly, you will find the time. You need to find the time because it's going to offer you perspective. And that perspective it gives you, it is priceless. I continued my service work through law school in New York. And later when I returned to California after law school, jobless, 2009, Lehman Brothers, all that happened. You could barely even get a job volunteering. I ended up working on the Kamala Harris campaign for Attorney General in 2009 and 2010. And these opportunities created connections for me and they opened doors. I did them to stay sane. I did them to stay relevant and keep my skills up. But it helped me get to where I am today. So I really do want to encourage you, connect with your community, volunteer with other students, and go give back because you're so consumed with what's happening in your life and your world and your studies. And it just seems like so important. And then you go and you reach out to somebody in your community and you give back and you help, a single mother work on her resume or whatever it may be. And you go, oh my gosh, I'm so blessed. And my life is not this, just my studies and just this. It makes you happy. Studies have shown volunteering literally changes your mentality and makes you feel happier. So make time to do that. And not just because it makes you feel good, but although that's great, and although it's so good to give back, selfishly do it because it's going to open doors for you later on. I promise. 4 years ago, I was sitting in my office, feeling a little bored, drained, and restless with 10 years of criminal defense work. I loved helping my clients and advocating for them. I still do. But I wanted to do something on a grander scale. And that's when I got the call out of nowhere. A production company wanted to interview me for a television role, playing myself, just an attorney. I honestly didn't believe it, and I almost hung up on them. And I thought it was a joke. But it turns out that they told me somebody that I had just met through networking connections had given them my name. They were looking for an attorney for this show, and they gave them my name. And, you know, yes, hard work to help me become an attorney. Of course, it takes discipline. Law school is brutal. The bar exam is brutal. Never spent so much time alone. It's awful. I'm a very social person. But it's not just the hard work. It's the connections you make along the way. It's the moment that you step out of your comfort zone. And I say that because it is uncomfortable to just sometimes, especially if a friend's not doing it with you, to just step out of your comfort zone and go volunteer somewhere, or go to these networking events and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, and this is what I want to do. What do you do? Sometimes they're super awkward. Sometimes you end up like with a really dull conversation. You're like, oh gosh, I'd rather be home watching Netflix. But you have to do it because it's in those moments you're shaping yourself, you're growing. And the more you do it, the better you become at it. So I just want to emphasize it's hard work, getting out of your comfort zone, but it's also the kindness that you show others in these times more than ever. I know the mayor mentioned it, show respect, show professionalism, show kindness. We all need a little more kindness right now. Be professional and respectful, carry yourself, in that way, and that will really open doors for you. People will remember you. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. It all starts now. You determine your future. If you have goals, whatever those may be, you really do want to make sure that, you are out there making connections with people, because you think that it's just putting in a job application, but it's not. It's so much more than that, you guys. It's who you know and who's going to give a good reference on you, and who's going to say she was wonderful to work with, or she left a lasting impression on me, or he's got goals, and, he may not type the fastest, or he may not, be super tech savvy, but boy, is he a people person, and he'll create a lasting impression. Those are the kinds of connections that you want to make in the years to come. Your studies are absolutely important. And that determination you guys already have, that's going to take you far. But I can't encourage you enough to volunteer, network, and give back. And coming from Union City, I hope that you feel the burden to do that, because that's what somebody's doing for you and giving you those scholarships. Always pay it forward. It feels so good. So I just want to say, it's been an honor to celebrate your achievements with you. I think there's no better time than now to announce that I will be starting a scholarship with the New Haven School Foundation in my brother's honor. I have for years been wanting to do something positive in my brother's name. And then I was talking to Helen Kennedy, and she asked me to do this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here it is. My brother was a sophomore at James Logan High School when he was struck by a train and killed suddenly. It was absolutely devastating for my family. It was my older brother. He was 15 and I was 12. And it was at that time that I saw my parents endure this relentless, awful fight against a major company and in their search for justice. And I remember that I want to do this. I want to help people fight for justice. And so that fueled me to become a lawyer. I've taken that trauma, and he's with me every single day, that even representing people in court, everybody deserves representation. It's about fighting for justice. And that's what Reasonable Doubt. I hope you guys all check it out. We have a new season coming out. Season 4 comes out July. It's on Discovery Plus, and I think it's also still on the ID channel, which is Discovery's all crime channel. It is a show where we look into possible wrongful convictions on behalf of families who feel that their loved ones were wrongfully accused of murder. I'd say it's not a very gruesome show, so you could feel free to watch it. I have my godchildren watch it, and they're like, 10 years old to 12. We try to show respect toward the victims and the families involved. It's really looking into whether or not this person received a fair trial and whether they were wrongfully convicted. I love fighting for justice. It is a part of, it's a part of the adversity that I faced as a young child. And so I am excited to have this scholarship. Next year, I will have, some students to help. And my family's very excited to be a part of it, to give a scholarship in my brother Lucas's name. So I just want to thank you all again, encourage you all, take your adversities, turn them into passions, allow them to fuel your drive so that you can really make a difference in your life and all of the people connected to you. Congratulations to you all. And I honestly can't wait to see what you have in store. I know you all have a bright future. So congrats.
Leave Fatima up here for a moment. Could you all take your mute off, please? Just click your mute button and unmute. Please join me.
Thank you.
Well done. Bravo. Yeah.
Thank you, Fatima.
Cheers to you
Let's
guys.
go.
Cheers to you all.
And I can assure you, Fatima, you are not the only one that is heartfelt tugged by the students that we hear today. So, and
awesome.
it is wonderful. And some of the takeaways, I think it is a lifetime of learning, as we learned today. You know what I mean? You take life as it brings you. Jumping to another Zoom meeting. There's always solution at the end. And this group of graduates, you mentioned the word resilience and persistence. It just resonates, and I think it's just wonderful. And
I don't think they realize how much they inspire us.
Oh my gosh!
You know what I mean?
That's exactly correct. And as a St. Mary's College alum, as myself,
Yes.
something in common. But it is a lifetime of learning, and it's how you define success. It's not in the stack of dollars, and that is be a lifetime of learning too. But it's
I learned a lot of that, not just at James Logan, but St. Mary's especially. Enter to learn, leave to serve is the motto. And I really, I went in not thinking about that, and I left going, oh no, that's what I want to do. I want to serve, because that's what feels good. And that will take you places. People think I don't want to be poor. I don't want, I don't really have much to give, but it will take you places. It will open doors for you. So that's what I loved about St. Mary's, even though, yes, it was very expensive. I'm so glad all these students are picking UC schools, Chabot.
Oh, it is wonderful. Well, thank you again, Fatima. Thank you to our students once again.
Congrats to all of you.
Yeah.